For more on the life and legacy of Pope Francis, let's welcome in syndicated Catholic talk show host of Catholic Connection, best-selling author and international speaker, Teresa Tomeo. Great to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me on again.
So what did you make of Pope Francis's funeral yesterday? Obviously, so many people came to Rome for the occasion, also stayed in Rome from the Easter holiday as well as the Jubilee. What stood out to you?
I think it was just such a beautiful representation of the universal church. The word Catholic means universal, and the fact that there were so many people from diverse languages and races coming together. And what was really interesting is so many people were heading into Rome and Italy for the Jubilee year, and they were expecting certain things this weekend. For example, today is what's known in the Catholic Church as Divine Mercy Sunday, and was scheduled also to be the canonization of Carlo Acutis. They were expecting a very different weekend, but think about what they experiencing something that most people never get to experience, that is a funeral of a pope. The other thing that struck me was the way that people lined the streets of Rome as the car was taking his body, his casket, over to his burial place, St. Mary Major, and the people lining the streets and just clapping and cheering and waving white handkerchiefs, and even many of them carrying white roses. It was just so beautiful. And it really reminded me of the way Francis reached out to so many people. Even the church where he was buried, St. Mary Major, it's not very, common for popes to be buried there, and it's quite a ways from the Vatican, more of a parish church. So I think all of that just reminded me of his papacy in terms of being the people's pope.
What were some of the most significant moments during Pope Francis's papacy that stood out to you?
Again, I think it was his outreach to people and the fact that he was also extremely well-traveled. And I think also his stance on life. He said some of the strongest statements, pro-life statements, even as strong or stronger than Benedict XVI and John Paul II. He referred to abortion as akin to hiring someone, a hitman, to solve a problem. And he called it murder. And so I think he was very, very direct about that. I think it was really important to him to stress the idea of peace, and also people coming together and being open to talk to other people. I think he was extremely ecumenical, reaching out to other religions within the Christianity, but also just worldwide religion. So I think that's what I'll remember him for. But again, I think the fact that he was so down to earth, and I was chatting yesterday on one of your programs about, many of us remember right after he became Pope, he went to pay his own bill at a hotel. He was already elected, right? And he walks in and the people at the hotel are like, what is going on here? And they said, well, we would have taken care of this. Well, no, I have to pay my bill. So that whole attitude of being very down to earth, I don't think that ever left him. And so to me, that is what I'll remember most about him being people's Pope.
Definitely. I think we could all relate to that moment, of course, of going to a hotel and paying our bill. The Pope does the same. Teresa, over the past 2 decades, you have traveled throughout Italy, leading pilgrimages and tours. Tell us a little bit more about that and your work as a Catholic leader.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. My husband and I are both of Italian-American heritage and started leading pilgrimages when I started to work in Catholic media 23 years ago. I used to work in secular media and was a news anchor like you lovely people, and had a major reversion to my faith, and also fell in love with the Lord again and fell in love with my Catholic faith and my Italian heritage. And so it was just a natural thing to lead pilgrimages. And we actually have 2 sold-out pilgrimages this year. And now my husband and I actually live part-time in Italy. We're heading back on Tuesday. I will be in Rome covering the conclave on the week of May 5th. But to me, I think what Italy reminds us so much of, and any great European country that has so much presence in terms of the faith, whether you're in France for Notre Dame or if you're in Rome for the Vatican. But of course, in Italy, we have so many Catholic saints. Where my husband and I live in the region of Umbria, which is about 2 hours north of Rome, there's 35 saints. And so everywhere you look, including the beauty, the churches, the magnificent churches, whether you're in Rome, whether you're in Assisi, whether you're in Florence, you see the creativity of the people. And my prayer is that that creativity will make them think of God. So that is one of the main reasons why my husband, who's also a deacon now in the Catholic Church, why we do what we do. We consider it evangelization, and it's kind of stealth evangelization because you don't hit people over the head with the Bible. We just let God do the talking. When people get off the plane in Italy, they're overwhelmed by the beauty. So I wrote a new book about it. It's called Italy Shrines and Wonders. You can find it on my website. So I hope you'll take a look. And
Gotcha.
I hope I can share with you some other ideas when we get back to Italy on May 5th. So we'd love to talk to you. Actually, next week I'll be there, but I'll be covering the conclave.
Well, all eyes will definitely be on the conclave. Thanks so much, Teresa Tomeo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Ciao, ciao.